Volume Two's poem. People have hope because they cannot see death standing behind them. Also, last time in part 1, there was a little moment between Ichigo and Rukia right before they went to go fight the Hollow that was chasing Chad and the Parakeet that I didn't talk about, and I'm going to try and be better about covering story-specific stuff and not just lore things. But when Ichigo is tending to KON, Rukia looks at him and then goes, "Don't worry, I got this." Now, later in the fight, she admits that she lied and that she was really in a lot of danger, but she knew that if she told Ichigo the truth, he wouldn't have taken care of his sister, and he would have tried to immediately rush to go help Rukia. It's just showing more of Rukia's understanding of Ichigo's personality with the time, even with the short amount of time that they spent together, and just sort of parts of their growing relationship, that she was able to understand the nuances of how Ichigo views certain situations and giving him the best possible scenario for himself despite his own interests. So yeah. Let's get to chapter 13, Bad Standard. And chapter 13's cover page is another shot of pretty much everyone in Ichigo's class together, but they're wearing like these weird kind of, they almost look like Ava style bodysuits with the knee pads and like the jumpers, what are they called? They're freaking the suspenders, the kind of suspenders over the shoulders, and then of course Chad is facing away from the screen. Jinta and Iru are so weird to me. Now, I know that Urahara had something to do with them, but I don't think it's ever explicitly explained, like, who they are or, like, why they're there. But, I mean, it is what it is. This is all gibberish. One Kikon Shiki Celestial Text Messenger Power and Cell. What grade? The cheapest. It's your funeral. 60 Soma Fixer Internal Soul Fixing Medicine. And this is all gibberish. All of this is gibberish. Yeah, this is where we learn about their names: Fishbone D, Hexapodus, and Acid Wire, and Shrieker. Where in the hell did she kick him? Did she just body this dude's nads and just swipe him up? All right, well, it is what it is. The Benevolent Society of Women Soul Reapers. Sometimes I hate this. End of chapter sketch. I got to help. So Urua being proud of herself that she got to do something, and then it goes horribly wrong. Chapter 14. School days. I don't know how Chizuru has managed to avoid being in jail, just being in prison. This is ridiculous. You've got a pretty face, but you're too butch for me. As if nobody asked you to like me instead of Orihime. What a waste. If you were a little more feminine, I'd take you on a field trip of Amor, awaken you to the pleasures of, and then Kon in Ichigo's body jumps through the window. You're flashing the quad. Do I look like Bruce Willis? What is up? Some of these dialogue tags, someone must have been having fun. And then of course the end of chapter sketch, all the other girls are just like, what the hell? What was that? I think it was Rukia. Chapter 15, Jumpin' Jack Jolted. Not to be mistaken with Jumpin' Jack Flash from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is just a random character. This is something that Kubo does. I don't know whether the classified is good or bad, but it's interesting. So like, naturally, when you have these type of situations, there are always, so like, it's hard to explain, but naturally, in a more natural setting, you're gonna have certain characters, or not even really characters, just people that just exist that we don't ever really focus on, so we don't ever really learn about them. But even though there are characters that we don't ever focus on, or we might not even know they exist really, they're still there doing things. And so sometimes we'll get moments like these where a principal will come in and naturally to a crazy or hectic situation, and we'll start talking to random people that are not the main characters we know. They're not the Chads, they're not the Orihimes, they're not the Rukias, they're not the Ichigos, right? They're not even like the main squad around those characters, right? The Tatskis, the Keigos, the Mizurus. So it's like, who are you, right? But even these characters have names, right? Like this girl here, where is it? It says her name is Kunita. like this is gonna happen again in the Arrancar saga when we meet Keigo's sister. At this point, we have no idea that Keigo has a sister, but it's just like, oh yeah, here you go. Like, where does Keigo live? Oh, he lives with his sister. Who's his sister? And it's like, I don't understand. Like, it's just one of those things where I think Kubo is just good at just making some of these characters. He's just good at just creating them and then just putting them in a role where they fit, even if we don't focus on them a whole lot. For this cover page of chapter 15, I don't know what he's got Rukia doing up here in the background, but this Ichigo picture with the goggles and the jacket is pretty nice. And I guess his shirt is supposed to be "Where is the man?" But it could be spelled like in a strange way, like very like kind of gives me like a almost Spanish vibe, like there was supposed to be like some type of Spanish connotation there, but I'm guessing the idea is "Where is the man?" This is another interesting little facet to Ichigo that, like, here's another thing that I think outsiders to Bleach always get wrong, is that they assume that Ichigo is like this punk like everyone else treats him, kind of like your Yusuke Urameshis of the world, but Ichigo's not really a punk, right? Like, he has a specific type of image, but he's not really a punk. He's not even close to being a traditional punk. He has some of the highest grades in his class. He's consistently on time. He has like some of the highest attendance rates. Like, he's pretty normal, or even like not even normal. He's pretty well put together when it comes to how he treats his schoolwork, but he presents this much more laid back, much more cool, like aloof persona, and he intentionally likes it to be that way. He likes the whole like, nah, I'm just that guy, like, you can't mess with me type of stuff, but he's not really going out of his way to fight people all the time, and he's not really like that aggressive or violent. Just a little overreactive a bit, but not really that crazy. So it's weird to hear certain people in other conversations talk about Ichigo being a punk when the reality is very far from that. Another beautiful facet and undertaking to Soul Society and how they do things, and kind of, again, more stirring that pot that Soul Society might not be what it was. So in the previous chapters where we dealt with Shrieker, Rukia tries to convince the parakeet that, hey, sending you to Soul Society is going to be great for you. And Ichigo kind of questions it a little bit, but he doesn't say anything in the moment, most likely because he doesn't want to, like, scare the boy about what's about to happen. But now that we're getting into this whole mod soul business about why they were created to take over corpses and potentially giving offensive capabilities so that they could then fight hollows, Ichigo is now looking at it like Soul Society created these dangerous things to put into corpses, and then all of a sudden they were just like, nah, we don't want them anymore. And so they basically condemned souls that they created, right, to this kind of eternal confinement. And Ichigo's basically pushing her on it, like, that doesn't sound right. And Rukia is just like, it's not for me to judge. It's Soul Society law. Like, it's not really for me to judge. And this whole, like, this is what the law states, and this is what the law is, and I have no business questioning it, is gonna become basically the whole crux of Soul Society. It's very interesting that KON basically just stumbles upon these random gym class kids, grade schoolers, since they mentioned being in Karen's class, who are just playing video games and are talking about created characters, and how if they don't wind up doing what they want them to do, they just delete the created characters and start over, and how that is in parallel to his own situation. For some reason, this is really sweet. The fact that Ururu has been worried about the fact that she sold this defective product to Rukia, and it's been causing chaos for the entire afternoon, essentially. And she's so worried about it that she thinks that Urahara hates her. And Urahara's just like, nah, don't worry about it. Like, it was partly my responsibility for even keeping the defective products. I should have threw them out. And then, like, I got the solution, so we're just going to fix it. It's like, it's not that big a deal. more so on that, I think, especially when it comes to Karin and Yuzu, Kubo is very good about writing children. I don't think it ever gets said enough, but he's very good at writing like little kids and children. It's pretty accurate. And then end of chapter sketches of Keigo looking at his destroyed desk, which was thrown by Tatsuki. Chapter 16, wasted but wanted. This is also nice to see. The fact that he was offended at the way that they treated, the way these kids, KON was offended at the way that these kids treated the created characters, and so he swooped down and broke all their games and shit like that. So, heat of the moment kind of thing. But as soon as he realizes that there's a hollow and that there's something more important going on, he immediately swoops in to save them. Didn't even want to hurt the ants. That's some next level, like, I don't want to kill people. Like, that's it seems kind of stupid on the surface, but like that's like another level of like how precious do you view life, right? And I think that's the most effective way of getting that type of idea across is like, I won't even hurt ants. It's pretty fucked. The whole context to the situation is pretty fucked up, right? You're conscious inside of this pill, and then as soon as you're created, you also hear that you're gonna be destroyed. So you're just watching everyone else that you associate yourself with effectively be destroyed, and then you're just waiting to be destroyed. It's like a certain event in history that I'm not going to mention, but it would be like that. But the person all the way in the back of the line, you know, waiting to go to the showers, knew what the showers were and couldn't back out of it. Like, it's that kind of fucked up. So the way in which Kisei speaks in this situation implies that it's a big deal for him to keep this modded soul that should have been destroyed, and that even he's like, yo, I'm not, if something happens to you, I'm not taking the fall for that, right? Like, you took the modded soul, had nothing to do with me, right? Which I think is kind of crazy in the grand scheme of things, or with all my knowledge of what happens in Bleach, that this is even a conversation. But hey, it is what it is. To be continued in volume 3. And then of course, the end of chapter sketch is Urahara walking off, and then all of the different modded souls or souls that existed inside the soul candy package. Hey, and then we get character sheets for Chad and Orihime.